Alabama shoots a lot of threes, as I'm sure you know. How key do you think defending the three is in this game?
I think it will be huge. Alabama's shown that they have the capability to beat some of the best teams in our country this year, and a large part of that, and oftentimes what leads to their success is how well they shoot the ball from three. They spread the court out. They try to play with some pace and some urgency and get up a lot of threes. So luckily for us, we've done a pretty good job, I think, this year, especially in the last month and a half of guarding the three-point line. So that's been a focus for us as we've been preparing for Alabama, and it will continue to be one for us.
Speaking of Alabama being up and down, like you say, they've beaten ranked teams. They've also lost to some of the only two SEC teams that have losing records. So how do you weigh which Alabama team you're going to see?
Well, I expect them to be great on Saturday. They just had a big win, and just to be blunt, we're coming to town, and a lot of times that creates an electric environment, and it's a big game for opponents all the time. So we expect to get the best of them, and we'll be prepared for it.
Thanks.
Harold Bird, go ahead.
Kellen, the other day, Davion became the sixth different player on your team to score 20 or more points. I'm curious, does that kind of relax everybody that they know they don't have to go out and be the man every single night?
Yeah, it does for sure. I've been saying since the season started, in fact, even before the season commenced, that we've got, 6, 7, 8 guys that are capable of having 20-point outings. We've had different scores consistently throughout the season. All 5 starters average double digits, and it just speaks to how versatile we are as a team, and how we have a lot of options. We can have 2 guys in the starting lineup scoring single digits and still have a commanding win. We've proven that already. So it speaks to our offense, the way we share the ball, pace we play. It gives a lot of people opportunities.
I would think that would create nightmares for an opposing coach trying to do a scouting report on when you've got 6 different options like that, or even more.
Exactly. CJ and I were just talking last night, in fact, and we said it. We would assume it's incredibly hard to scout us, just given what we witnessed the other night with Davion, Keon erupting for 27 against Kansas, having 20 again. So you probably assume Oscar's a focal point, but we've shown we have the capability with all the guys in the rotation to really have productive nights and put up a lot of points.
Thank you.
Larry Bach, go ahead.
Yeah, Kellen, 2 things for you. First, do you really think Alabama will try to get up and run up and down the floor with you guys after seeing what you did at Kansas when they tried to do that?
We hope they do. We welcome it. We always get excited if the game can be back and forth, because eventually, as Coach Cal always says, someone's going to let go of the rope, and we're so conditioned and so trained to play that fast. We practice with a ton of full court drills where we're constantly working on our speed and playing at that pace, and you can see how we can maintain it. So we would love it if the game's a track meet. We think we have an advantage there.
And the second thing would be, why do you think this team is so beloved by UK fans, or do you sense how beloved you guys are right now by fans?
Well, without having any prior experience here, I can only speak to what I've witnessed, but I would imagine that this has been just from what I've garnered and from being around fans and post game, and they seem to be very ecstatic about our team. I think they like the brand of basketball. I think They appreciate the character of this team. It's so evident that we've got a lot of high character guys, and we have a sole focus, and that's winning. So we certainly feel the excitement from our fan base, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
John Long,
Kellen, it seemed like the Vanderbilt tried to bully you guys. It almost looked like they were trying to get under your skin by making you guys mad. How important is it for the team to kind of keep its cool during this period going down the stretch run?
I think it will be imperative for us to stay poised in situations like that. They clearly wanted to disrupt the flow of the game. I think they had no problem with each team being in the bonus 8 minutes into the second half, because when ticky-tack fouls are called and there's an emphasis on physicality by one team, it can lead to that being reciprocated by the other team, and then it becomes a free throw game and more of a half-court game. So I imagine that was, once they had noticed the direction of the game becoming more physical, I imagine Vanderbilt was okay with that. But we we're a good enough team where we don't have to, we're not only going to win a game if it's a track meet. We've got the versatility and the options on offense. We have the experience and the discipline to stay poised in a situation like that. And I think although we could have cleaned some things up, we did a pretty good job handling it. We could have rebounded a little bit better and maybe not got baited into a couple fouls, but for the most part, we kept our composure and we're able to handle business.
Yeah, and watching you on the court out there, you always seem so composed, and listening to you during these interview sessions. Do you ever get mad out there on the court, and do you play better or worse when you got a little fire lit under you?
No, I can definitely get mad. I try not to, if I'm mad, the whole world doesn't need to see it. I try not to be as demonstrative about it. But there's a competitive spirit in me, and like any player, I just try to, I guess, be a little more reserved and showing my emotions. And as an older player and as someone who's tasked to help in a leadership role, I think it's important for me to stay composed and lead by example.
Ken Spencer will come to you next.
Last year, Alabama got Kentucky a couple times pretty good. Do you get a sense from Cal or some of the guys that were on that team a year ago that they would kind of, like to get one back here tomorrow down there?
No, I don't think we're thinking about that. I mean, it hasn't been brought up yet. This is an entirely new team. It's a different kind of, the climate of college basketball has changed. We've got fans back. It's just a completely different situation this year, and it's a new team. So we're focused on playing Alabama tomorrow, and then we're focused on South Carolina the next game. Last year, I think, is moot at this point.
Kyle Tucker,
Yeah, Kellen, similar to kind of what you were talking about with fans, and I know you don't necessarily have the backdrop of last season to compare to, but I wonder if you can sense from Cal his sort of maybe relief or just enjoyment after last season being what it was, especially having a group of guys that are veteran, that are older. Maybe you guys have, more adult level conversations, even more than just basketball. But do you get a sense that just being around a mature group like this has been a little bit of a relief for a guy that's been coaching largely freshmen for the last 12 years?
I think he definitely appreciates it. He reminds us all the time that he's having a ball coaching us, and is incredibly excited every day to walk in the gym and coach his team. Naturally, I think part of that probably has to do with he's got an older group and guys who have played Anywhere from 60 to 120, 150 college games. And there are some things that maybe he doesn't have to explain, or he only has to explain once. And I would presume he appreciates that. But overall, I think the overwhelming factor is we're a high character group, and we care about each other, and all of us care more about the team success than we do our individual success. And I think that's what he appreciates most.
John Hale,
Kellen, you've played a lot of minutes the last 4 games, I think 37 plus in each of them. Obviously, you had a season at Davidson where you averaged, I think, 38 minutes a game. What goes into being just physically, mentally prepared to play that much in one game?
Well, one, it's up to me. I think the amount of minutes I play shows that the staff trusts me. So it's up to me to stay disciplined in my role and do the things that I'm supposed to do that make it hard for the coaches to take me out of the game. And then also, like you mentioned, just kind of the experience of playing a lot of minutes for 4 years at Davidson. And my body's used to it. The way we practice and the emphasis on playing fast keeps us in good shape. And it allows me to stay out there. And you also got the benefit of media timeouts every 4 minutes, so I can rest then. I don't want to come out of the game, so I have no complaints there.
Nick Gabriel,
Kellen, you specialize in a three-pointer, and obviously it's only one more point, but it also brings an emotional jolt to the crowd, both home and away. And clearly it's an uplifting element for the team. How much are you cognizant of that? And how much do you enjoy that?
It's a lot of fun. I've said all year I've been having a blast playing here and feeding off the energy of our home crowd. And then, you also feed off silencing an opposing crowd. And I think I said maybe a month ago or that when we're playing at Rupp, the anticipation that you just feel in the air when I'm shooting a three, I've said I feel more gratitude towards that than the reaction when it actually goes in. So it's a lot of fun. I appreciate it. It's evident that our fans expect me to make shots, and it's a pretty rewarding feeling. So it's a lot of fun.
Barry Graves,
Yeah, following up on that, I guess how much has your shot changed or your approach to shooting changed from last year to this year? I mean, how much smarter do you feel in terms of the shots that you take here?
My release has quickened a little bit, and that was an emphasis when we got here. Not to say that I didn't. I mean, just frankly, I've always had a relatively quick release, but there's always room to improve, and there's a different standard at Kentucky, and it would only help me to try to quicken my release a little bit. So we worked on that right when I got here in the summer, and then the other thing, it's a different style of play. And back in the Carolina game before Christmas, Cal said, "If you're not going to shoot, you're coming out." Just after I passed up a shot or two in the first half. So there's an added layer of confidence that comes from the coaching staff that makes it easy for a shooter like me to feel good about getting shots up whenever I have the opportunity. And we play a fast-paced offense. We'd rather shoot a makeable shot with 23 on the shot clock, knowing we've got Oscar in the paint, and just overall we've got one of the best rebounding teams in the country. And there's always a chance for putbacks, and aside from the chance itself of the shot going in, and then it gives us more possessions. So it's a great feeling for me. I'm confident to shoot as long as I feel like I have a good look. I'm confident to shoot. So I think a combination of all those factors.
Last two, Kyle Tucker and then Daryl Bird.
Helen, it feels like as teams have elevated you more and more in the scouting report to try to take away your shooting, respect your shooting, we've seen you maybe have to work a little harder and take more of the higher degree of difficulty shots. And I think those might be talk about the crowd. I think those might be fan favorites. The sprinting, twisting in the air, square yourself up in midair threes. How much have you had to sort of add that more and more to your game? And what is the secret to perfecting when you're really not on balance, getting yourself squared up in those situations?
Well, there's a combination of factors to answer that question. One, I give a lot of credit both to Davidson and here. At Davidson, we were a motion-filled offense, and we were setting screens constantly. So you had to have an ability to shoot off screens. So I've been practicing shooting off screens for years. And then here at Kentucky, that's another part of our offense, aside from dribble drive and ball screens. And a part of it is setting good screens and getting shot makers open looks. So we practice it every day. I practice it with Jay Lucas and Riley Welsh, and pre-game shooting and pre-practice shooting every day. And I'll give a little props to my dad. He's told me since I was a little kid, just square my shoulders. And he used to always reference Steph and Kobe and some of the greats, and how it never mattered the position of their body or how fast they were going or how they were moving. As long as I got their shoulders squared, you give the ball a chance to come in. So when I'm sprinting the baseline and running out, my focus always is just to get my shoulders squared. And if I can get my shoulders squared, I think I have a good chance of making the shot. I mean, there's rhythm to side steps and to shooting off movement. Your body gets under you a little more, at least in my eyes, and there's a rhythm to it sometimes that can give you a little momentum or a little more energy to a shot than sometimes just a catch and shoot shot does. So I hope that answers well enough.
Carol just said that was the same question. So that's all we have for Kellen. We'll have Ty Washington in here in just the raised hand feature. We'll open it straight to questions. John Hale, start us off.
How physically do you just feel after the ankle injury? There were some questions as to whether you were 100% the other night. Just how have you felt coming back from that?
feel good. I feel 100%. You know, I've been taking care of my ankle, doing a lot of treatments and stuff, so I feel really good.
John Wong,
Like, Ty, the game against Vandy the other night got a little bit chippy, some flagrant one fouls. How important is it for the team to kind of maintain their cool during those times that the other team is trying to kind of get under your skin?
Yeah, most definitely. Like you said, the game got chippy. So, you know, it was just important for us players that was on the court and I was on the bench as well, you know, for all of us, you know, stay connected as a whole, not let them really, you know, push our buttons to where any of our guys are getting ejected or stuff like that. So, you know, at the end of the day, we need everybody on this team. So we know teams are going to do what they got to do to try to get us, you know, not playing team ball and stuff like that. So as long as we stay connected, you know, tell them like focus on the bigger picture. Like we're not here to fight anybody. We're here to play basketball and win games.
Yeah. Have you ever lost your cool out on the court? What's the maddest you've ever been?
The maddest I ever been, I don't know. I really can't tell you. It's just like I really don't get that mad. I mean, I know what people are trying to do when they're being more aggressive and stuff like that. You know, I feel like guys who do that, they only do that because they know like they're not up to your level yet. So like they really want to just do whatever they could do in their power to stop you.
Mitch Brown,
Tata, it's one thing to have guys that are talented. Can you hear me? Okay. It's one thing to have, I mean, you guys have a lot of talent, but it's the personalities. We see you guys mesh, you know, Davion talked about it the other night, just Xavier trying to get him the ball to get the 20-piece. How important is it to you to be a part of a locker room where you guys have guys that want you to eat as much as they want to eat out there on the court?
It's very important. I mean, it just goes to shows. First, not only do we really care about each other on and off the court, but it just shows like anybody on this team can have the hot hand going. And against Vandy, we all knew Davion and Keon were the two that really had the hot hand. So, you know, me and Xavier were just telling Dave, like, you know, keep being aggressive, keep being aggressive. When I was out the game, I was just telling Dave, like, you know, like we're not going to win this game if it's not going to be with you scoring the ball for us. So, like, we need you to continue to do that. Just continue to play how you normally been playing, how everybody in the world knows you can play.
Larry Vaught,
Yeah, Tata, I just wondered, why do you think this team is so beloved by fans? And do you feel the love that the fans are showing you guys?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I think we all, you know, are starting to embrace the love that the fans here have for us. I think the fans really just, you know, love us because not only the way we play basketball, the way we share the ball with each other is just like, I feel like the fans can really see like in all our faces that, you know, like this is like, we're really brothers all here. Like we all care for each other. Like we don't care who has the most points. Like we all have the same common goal, which is to win. And like, it just goes out and shows like we go out, we're always laughing on the court. The game could be really close and you will find me and Xavier at the free throw line laughing with each other. You can find Granddad having his little grin. So it's just like, we always going out there with happy spirits, you know, man, just going out there with a smile on our face every game.
Is there any one player you think is the biggest reason for the smiles?
I would have to say, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's just one player, but I mean, Oscar has a huge role in that because just who he is. I mean, most dominant person on our team. So with him having a great attitude, great spirits all the time, you know, it just elevates the rest of us around him. And, you know, me personally, I like trying to mess with Oscar, even if it's during the game. Like I always crack jokes on him and stuff like that. So Oscar gets a lot of guys going, a lot of guys smiling and laughing.
Dick Gabriel,
Ty, just kind of following up on Mitch's question. Before you got here, high school, AAU, whatever, you could pretty much score at will. And here you've had to adapt to the college game, obviously, and figure out other ways to contribute nights that you're not scoring. What has that been like for you to make that adjustment? And I assume you enjoy that.
Yeah, so similar situation in high school as well, though. Nights where I wasn't scoring the ball back then, still find other ways, you know, still contribute and just help my team get the win. So I mean, here, the only thing I really would say just difference is just physicality, speed, and stuff like that. But nights where I'm not scoring, I know basketball is way more than just scoring the ball, for sure. So I know me not scoring, I can still go out there, rack up a few assists, rebounds, get a couple of steals, defend really well. So I just know, basketball comes with a lot of responsibilities. It's other than just scoring the ball, So really, got to just find ways to, elevate your game and help your team get the win, even if even if your own personal success isn't working.
Any other questions for Ty Ty? Keith Taylor, go ahead.
Hey, Tata, you guys have played well on the road the past few games. Does that give you a little bit more confidence going into places like Alabama in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, most definitely. Our last game we had on Saturday was a road game at Kansas, and we went out there. We were focused from the moment we stepped on the plane here to the moment we got off the plane there. So just feel like if we keep our same preparation, our same mindset going into these road games, I feel like we'd be fine.
Gary Tipton?
Yeah, I tell you, you guys are the third straight highly rated opponent Alabama's going to be playing. How hard is that for any player to gear it up, for an opponent like that 3 in a row?
It's gonna be very hard, especially on their end. I mean, they're playing against tough competition, like you said, 3 nights in a row. So it's just like now we're coming into town, and we already know they're gonna give us their best shot because it's like. But like every team we play against, they're always gonna give us their best shot just because of the name we have on our jerseys. I know it's gonna be a home. They're playing at home too, so I know they're gonna be feeling really good. They probably put up a million shots on them rims already, so like they're gonna be used to that. The crowd's gonna be on their side, so we know going into it, it's gonna be a really fun and challenging task.
Thanks.
Kyle Tucker?
Yeah, Ty, I wonder, as another very good shooter on this team, who knows what it's like, how difficult are the Kellen Grady sprinting off a screen, catching the ball in motion, jumping, twisting, trying to square up in midair threes that he keeps hitting? How difficult are those? How impressive are those? And is that something you can teach yourself to do over time?
Yeah, that shot is definitely one of the hardest shots, just because first, you have to run your man off the screen, so you have to really like try to create separation there. So you're sprinting from the start, and then once you catch the ball, you can't slow down your momentum, or else the defender could come back. So with Kellen, he just sprints, and his feet don't even half the time his feet don't even be pointed to the rim, but he just knows how to get his shoulders squared, and once you get your shoulders squared, the ball goes straight. It's going in for sure. So it's just like him making those shots. And everybody knows that's a difficult shot. So when he makes it, you get to see like the other team, all the defenders put their heads down because it's like, wow, like he really just made that. And he's not making one a game. He's making like it could very consistently. So he could run off about, 6, 7 of those in a game the same way. So it's just like everybody here all knows he can make that shot. We see him practice that shot. So whenever we're running that play, when he comes off, we all think it's going in. And I just feel like, over time, hopefully, some point, I could, I got the shot down, but just not mastered how my feet don't have to be pointed to the basket.
Any other questions for Ty Ty? If not, we will let him go. We will have Coach Callen here as soon as we can.
today. I ain't got no gimmicks. Respect is earned, not given. You want some, you gotta take some. It's on you. Let's go.
You got to play early, okay? If you play early, you'll be fine.
You know how many teams wish that they sat in this locker room? How many players across the country? They're all going to be watching this game if they're not playing. And you're in it. Enjoy this together.
We can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Sooner or later, we gotta calm down. Go and tell that long-term liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rebel, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell them God's gonna cut them down. Tell them that God's gonna cut them down.
What a drive. Samir Wheeler is especially good in that slot.
Washington the pull-up. And the weak side rebound and throwdown for Keon Brooks Jr. Washington with a burst of speed, and it goes. Grady steps into a three, and how good a shooter is he? And Wheeler gives Kentucky an 8-point lead. Keon Brooks with a offensive rebound, and Bill Self has seen enough.
A great pass by Brooks. Just beautiful.
McCormick, great help by Washington to knock it away. Was loose, Cats have it, and Brooks slams it.
Kentucky did not stop playing.
Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rebel, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell them that God's gonna cut them down. Tell them that God's gonna cut them down.
Taylor up top, and Brooks with a slam. And they will take a 20-point lead into the locker room here at the Farm.
We have 20. Yo, we gotta keep getting stuff. Keep going. 20 more minutes.
We 0-0, bro. We got
20 more minutes of the show.
We are doing what we do. We are a machine. Everybody in here is do what the training is saying and what I'm asking you to do.
Look at the turnaround. Didn't panic at all in the paint. A career night for Keon Brooks, who has scored Kentucky's last 13 points. Grady does it again. That move we talked about where he curls and turns in the air, it seems, and still squares up perfectly. Shibwe stays with it, but misses, gets it again, and this time finishes.
Not very often at all that you see fans leaving early. Kentucky dominated this game from top to buzzer.
want to take time to remember Joe B. Hall, the legendary former Kentucky basketball coach, died today at the age of 93.
And even the last visit I had with him 2 days ago, he was smiling. He grabbed my hand and basically was like, "You're going to be all right." You know, it's a sad day for this program and our fans.
We ask that you please rise and join us in a moment of silence as we remember the life and legacy of Coach Joe B. Hall. Thank you. Today, we honor Coach Hall's legacy by playing the game that he loved. For Joe B. and the entire Hall family, welcome to Rupp Arena, home of the greatest tradition in the history of college basketball.
Control by the Vols, and the Wildcats will open their first defensive possession in a 1-3-1 zone. Coach Hall used to lobby Coach Cal to use once in a while. In transition, Brooks, Kellen Grady. Grady at 45%. Grady again. Those are two transition threes in a row. Mitch gets by Ziegler, on top to Sheba. Back cut, tie, Washington. That's how you handle teams that get out in passing lanes. Kentucky leading by 5. Brooks from the corner. It's a long 2. Needs some help. Finally gets it over. But in a tough spot, and it's turned over. Wheeler to Lance Ware for the flush. Mins the flush. Wow. Davion Mins has been a different player in the last 4 games. So confident and aggressive pass through, but eventually stole it away. And the right guy in the right spot for the 3 for Kentucky. They put up 50 in a half. Tremendous addition there. Washington having a sensational first half. He's got everything. He is just a playmaker, shot maker. Fire. Corner 3 for Grady. And a chance for one more. 67 against the second-best defensive team in the nation this year. Wheeler with a beautiful left-handed bounce pass into Tucker. Wheeler for 3. And it's been that kind of an afternoon for the Wildcats. Now, what team can they not beat with this type of play? And the answer is nobody. 18 turnover committed by the Vols, and then it's a run out in the other end. 24-point lead. Make it 27. Kentucky now 10 of 17 from three-point range. Bryce Hopkins in the corner, getting in on the far. Kentucky was absolutely fabulous. What a great building block for the rest of the season.
This was a big deal. Yes, offensively you were really good. But you defended and they played their butts off and still lost by 30. Tells you what we could be. All right.
1, 2, 3, family!
Hey man, what's Oscar doing?
He's cleaning the glass, bro. What are you talking about?
How often does he do that?
Like 15, 20 times a day.
Hmm.
I'm finishing up.
Hey, does anyone in here have change for the vending machine?
Yo, Ava, I got you. $70, $80, $90, and $1.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to meeting, and I'm on my way. We'll try and get there as quick as we can. Thanks so much. All the best. Go Cats.
Don't forget your coat. You want to catch a cold.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hold on, Mr. Barnhart. Grab the banana. Don't go back to your New Year's resolution quite yet.
All right. Thank you. Hey, are you going to take care of those 3 things for me?
Absolutely. 3's are kind of my thing.
and Women's in Sports Day. And the 50th anniversary of Title IX. So I'm going to do some stuff, and I beg your forgiveness, but we got to talk about this campus and then some other things about women and what's happened for them here. Volleyball, our women's program won the national title. Player of the Year, Madison Lilly. Think about that. Jensen Castle won the U.S. Amateur. And I've got to look at these because there's a number of names here. Won the U.S. Women's Amateur in golf. Mary Tucker, Shooter of the Year, and silver medal at the Olympics. And our women's track, you think about this. Sydney McLaughlin won 2 medals. Jasmine Camacho won a gold medal. Kenny Harrison and Javion Oliver won silver medals. And how about softball? Abby Steiner won a national championship and set college records. Kaylee Kowalik, best catcher in softball. I'm sorry, Abby Steiner was track. And swimming and diving won their first SEC title. Our women's basketball team, they come in our practices. The same with me. I'm here to help all of them. But I'll tell you what, they have to be recognized for what they're doing. Now, I got to do this. We started the McClendon Initiative. And we coaches, what we said was, if we want to have more diversity within athletics, we're going to have to step up and do something ourselves to get it started. The McClendon Foundation, the McClendon Leadership Initiative, that's what it was about. It was not only men of color. It was about women. running athletic departments, being presidents of universities, running businesses. And so I'm going to name some names who have gone through the program or in the program that are females right now. Ro Rhodes, you all know her. I think she could be an athletic director within 10 years. I really believe that. Verona Clark, Erica Hansard, who's here now, Serena Hyatt, Gabby Little, Alexis Mallory. These aren't just at Kentucky. These young ladies are all over the country. Michelle McLeod, Jasmine Folston, Nicole Snyder, Taylor Buford, Lauren Harris, Simone Wark, Tori Tia Joseph, Denise Bradford, Bria Cade, Erica Bennett, Whitney Ashley, Tori Ray, Divya Tunway, Rosa Jones, DeAndre Whaler. And again, I'm doing this without glasses. I should get 2 claps for that. DeAndre Greer, Cameron Almarez, Avery Salvador, Faith McGee, Maria Yim, Jasmine Wooten, and Ishita Tiberwall. Now, why I say all those names? This is the beginning, and what we hope is these young ladies make a change for all of us. That they go from what they're doing within athletic departments, moving up within athletic departments, being in the NBA, which some of them now are, going to the NFL, which some of them now are, and having opportunity. This is about access and opportunity. It is not a hand out, it's a hand up. Access and opportunity. And when I call coaches about their McClendon leaders, I'm telling you the biggest term they use, stars. They are stars. This woman, we're hiring her here. Ro Rhodes is with the Bobcats. I mean, that's what this is about. And what's happening on this campus for women and how they're, all they need is the chance. And you see what happens. Anyway, I thought that was important that I did that today.
John, since you brought up the McClendon Initiative, how does that fit into the context of Brian Flores's class action suit against the NFL over their hiring practices?
I don't, I haven't followed it closely, so I don't know. All I'll say to you is we coaches are in a position, if we want to see more minorities, and maybe someday a female head coach in men's basketball. There are men in the women. How about there's a woman in the men's game? And then if that woman goes and does a heck of a job, you know what will happen. It changes things. And so we're about access and opportunity. This is not saying someone's going to get it. They just need an opportunity to get it. Now, how does that happen in our sport? The person hiring that coach got to kind of look like him and feel comfortable with him or her. And that means you kind of look like them, and all of a sudden that we don't have that right now in college athletics. And we coaches stepped up. And this is from, and I, Nick Saban, I can name names, football. Gina R.A.M. has stepped up. There are women's coaches. There are coaches from across the country in basketball, baseball. Our coaches here all stepped up. We have 5. All it is access, opportunity. Let these, you don't want to hear, well, no one applied. Well, we're stepping up and financially investing in these young people. So it's been a good start. We're only 2 years in. And of the 35 last year, I believe 21 got jobs. We need to go 5 to 10 years to really see the impact of this. maybe 15, all of a sudden you say, you know what? There was a breakthrough. They're young right now. They need to get in their mid-30s and now see if we can, who bounces through? Who's the deputy? Who's the AD? How about we have a couple college presidents here? How about we have people that run businesses here? And they look back and say, I just needed a chance to show who I am. Very hard to get these positions. You have to go through an interview process. And then you have to go through another interview process on a college campus or Zoom. Who is going to hire you? Very hard to get these. 700 applied for 31 positions last year. Hard to get. And they're college graduates. Some of them already had jobs. Some of them have advanced degrees that are willing to come back and jump in this program to see where it goes. Some of them are married with kids. It's great. I'm enjoying it, watching it, listening. Cesar Adem, who was with us last year, sent me a text 5 minutes before I walked in this room. Basketball ops position in Maryland. So, that's the kind of stuff, coach, appreciate it. I mean, come on. We have a chance as coaches to do this. And you know what's great and what I'm proud of? There's not one coach that said no to me. There was no one that says, I already do all my stuff and I don't want them. And no, we are here. There was no coaches doing that. They're like, where do I send a check to? What do I do? How do I do this? And then the McClendon Foundation within the Athletic Directors Association. We're working through the Athletic Directors Association to pull this off. Tony Monifo, who's doing all the interviewing, a Kentucky graduate who's doing stuff for us pro bono. Unbelievable job that, the pro staffing has done. So hope that answers that question.
Yeah, John, a couple of things. You were talking about McClendon to me and about access and opportunity. Isn't that the same situation the women were facing 50 years ago before Title IX?
Yes. Yes. And if you ask them now, they'll say we're still facing it.
Yeah.
And so that's why when we started this, right away, we were talking about, look, this isn't just for men now. And what we're finding out, some of these young ladies are stars, smart. They'll speak their mind. They're not afraid. They have a different temperament as far as how they deal with issues. When you talk to them and hear it, yeah, I'm not saying they're better or worse. I'm just saying they just need access and opportunity.
The other thing, have you seen the video with Davion talking about the young fan at Kansas?
I didn't see it. I just heard about it today at coffee. So my buddy Steve mentioned it to me, and I did not see it, but I'll talk to him today when we go to practice.
I was wondering, could you speak to the impact on players and even the impact on you when you hear stories like that?
Yeah, it's, I let me say this to our fans, again, that are around the country. It's so good to have you back in the building, back connected. I mean, our fans are an army that if anybody attacks one of our players or me and tries to make me out to be something that I'm not, our true fans, oh my goodness, they step up. And then for us all, coaches and players, to see the impact we have. I can't tell you how many letters I get that to call or to send letters back to or do. And I'll be honest with you, I do most of them that I can get to because I know the impact. I saw it when we went down to West Kentucky. I could feel it. Just being there makes people, there's a responsibility, guys and ladies, that go with that, which is you cannot sit behind your desk and watch tape. You have to get involved. It's everything you do. You can't say I'm just coaching basketball, not here. It's your obligation.
I wondered just for you, dealing with this group of mostly veteran guys, a lot of guys who kind of know things, who've had some life experiences. You probably have some different kind of conversations with them than you might with a freshman. Has this been a refreshing kind of a experience for you this season to be around a bunch of grown-ups, for lack of a better word?
Well, Reed and I used to laugh. Reed Travis and I used to talk politics. And the other players would look at us like, who are you talking about? Who's that? And he and I are going, Senator Klobuchar was a friend of their family. So I really respect. I think she's really good at what she does. And we would go back and forth and we would talk. This group, they get my jokes. They understand what they got a responsibility to each other. They're not so consumed with themselves because they've been through this and they understand they can't do it alone. We need each other. I've never had a team cheer. Well, I have, but this team is cheering for each other because the clutter that comes at them is not all about them. You have to do this. Don't worry about that. You. These are more, they're adults. They can shut phones off. I'm not going to talk. I got to go. Bye. Others have to hear it because they're not old enough to say, stop. I don't want to hear that. So when you have older guys, it's a different, I've had older teams in the past. I just didn't since I've been here.
Kellen has played a lot of minutes the last 4 or 5 games.
Too many minutes. Too many minutes.
Injuries. I was going to ask, is it too many? And
yeah.
What about him makes him successful, I guess, to leave him out there that long?
Because anytime I say, do you need one? I'm good. And the first thing I do is I go look at the sprint grade out. Where does he grade out on the sprints? And they're all A's and only a couple B's. And we're flying. And he's defending. And he's trying to rebound. And he's talking. And he has suggestions. But I'm playing him too many minutes. I'd like to get his minutes down to 30, 28. It's hard to play 38 minutes.
Hey, John, I marvel at your composure up there on the podium. Recently, we've seen a lot of basketball coaches kind of lose it in front of the media. And you've been doing this a long time. You've been asked a lot of inane questions over the years. I think I've only heard you curse maybe 1 or 2 times in front of us, but I see you go crazy on the court out there. How are you able to just kind of flip the switch and kind of keep things under control when you're speaking with us?
So when people like you ask me really dumb questions, let me say this, what happens. I am a sinner and I go to mass every morning so that I can try to clean everything off and get out there and start sinning again. But I say this to you, that if you take this like life or death, you die a lot. And, you all are trying to do your job. The only person that bothers me in the media is the guy that has the agenda that he's going to prove himself right. Then I get bothered by that person. Like, I'm going to prove that Cal's this and this. Or that guy that thinks he's bigger than everything. And it's about him. That guy would bother me. The other stuff, like you asked me about the stuff with Davion. I'm not following it. I got to coach 12 guys and get these kids together. So I'm not following it. And most cases, if I'm really upset with somebody, I'll just be short. I'll give them yes or no. And then you guys will say, why is he mad at him? I'll give him a yes or no answer. Yes, no, next. I'm not here to embarrass anybody. I'm not here to say, I'm going to prove that guy is this way. I don't have time. My new line is to my staff, and they think I'm crazy. I am like a submarine commander. I'm in a submarine in a tube. I don't need BS throwing it against the wall. Give me the facts. What's the radar say? What's the film say? I don't have time. And with all the stuff I've got to do for these kids, really don't have any time for that. I mean, do I like all of you? I went to Mass. I'll go to Mass tomorrow. Yes, I really do. I'll be in Mass tomorrow, so I'm fine. I really do. But, everybody is going to have an opinion of this. Here's the difference what's happened to media, why coaches go crazy. Guys need eyeballs now. It was never that way before. So the most outrageous thing I say, the most outrageous thing I can bring up, I get more eyeballs. Whose eyeballs are they all trying to get? The BBN. And so my suggestion to the BBN, if someone's attacking me or our players, don't go in it. Don't go on the radio. Don't go. Just back away from it. Let them do what they're doing. Don't give them your eyeballs. You don't give them the eyeballs, they'll go right about somebody else.
Last two questions. Dylan Ballard and then Jerry.
Hey, if anybody wants this for the stuff with the McClendon, the names, ask Deb and she can send it to you, okay?
Hey, Cal, we were talking just a second ago about Kellen and his minutes. I saw this morning that he was the leading three-point shooter in the SEC. In his minutes, would you like to get him more shots, or would you like to kind of stay where he's at in the offense?
Well, he needs. Look, we're going to take 30% of our shots will be threes, 28%. That's history for me. Okay. Our stuff has been consistent. We've gone to dribble drive, positionless, and other things, but that part of it, the sharing, the fight, we have right now, I think 5 or 6 guys that have scored 25 points and 2 others, maybe 5, and 2 others that scored 17. That's a normal year for us. That's what we try to do. We try to have plus rebounds. We try to hold people at 40%. We like to get block shots. We do not like steals. I mean, and so when you say more, all right, if he's taking more, what does that mean? Someone else is getting less. And there have been games now that he's 0 for 7. And then there's other games where he's 6 out of 7. So I'm liking how he's playing. I just think I'm playing him too many minutes. If you talk to him, he'll say, I'm fine. I don't know what he's talking about.
John, about the game tomorrow.
What game? We have a game tomorrow?
That's the rumor.
Okay.
And I hope it is tomorrow, by the way. I heard you said on your show, maybe move to Sunday. I assume you can get out.
We think so. At this point, we're going to be able to get out.
Good. The Alabama coach has talked about how up and down his team is, really good against some ranked teams, highly ranked teams, and then they've lost some games that you scratch your head. How does that impact preparation when the opponent is kind of up and down?
You got to watch more tape. You got to watch tape when they didn't play as well. Was it the other team or them? And then you got to play. You got to watch tape when they really played well. Did they do something different? Was the other team doing something that led to them to play well? So you get bogged down in tape. And what you try not to do, as you guys know me, I'm more concerned about how my team plays than somebody else's. And if they're at our best and we're at our best and they beat us, we move on to the next game. But you're always trying to take a couple things away from them, and then you're trying to take advantage of a couple things on offense. Not much, because at the end of the day, you're on the road. They beat some of the top-ranked teams in the country. It's going to be a really hard game for us to win. We know that. But again, so I'll tell you what happened yesterday. I came in, we had a film session, went home, sat in my chair, and had no desire to come back for that 3:00 practice. None. Like, I was thinking of calling in saying I got COVID. Just anything. I didn't want to go in. So I went in. Now, when I told the players, if I feel that way, I know you feel that way. Let's get a good hour in. And you know what? You talk about a veteran group. You talk about a group that understands. And they did it. The second thing I had to show them was, if anybody watched the Vanderbilt tape, how do you think teams are going to come out and play us? What do you think they're going to do? Jerry, you watched it. What do you think they'll do?
Be physical.
Beat us up. Grab, do whatever. Push, block out, facing the guy, do whatever you want. Just, how about on a screen, Jerry? What are they telling them to do? When you go to screen Kentucky, bang them.
Lay it up.
Yeah, bang them.
Extra.
So now I said, we have to enjoy that kind of game. You can't shy away from it. If they want to play that way, we got to win anyway. But that's the kind of stuff when you have a veteran team, they understand. If you're a guy that shies away from that kind of play, you're going to play less. Accept it. But the biggest thing for us and you as a player, I said it's like math. I couldn't stand math. So I got B pluses instead of A's. Literally, I got some D's in math because I couldn't stand math. Calculus, I couldn't even spell calculus, let alone take it. Well, if I can't stand it, how am I going to be in it? Not good. It's the same with that kind of play. If you got to relish it and take joy in it, come on. And then the back and forth. Now, my thing is, if they do it to us, we got to be able to do it to them without my guys getting 4 and 5 fouls. Let us all do it. But let's relish it. And let's go. Here we go. If you want to play that way, we're playing. So those are the kind of messages that I'm giving. And on a day where we were all exhausted. And I didn't play, but I was into the game.
One other thing, if I can. You guys are Alabama's third highly ranked opponent straight in a little over a week. How difficult is that for any team to gear it up that way again in such a short period?
Way easier than trying to gear it up for a team you think you can beat. That's hard. That's hard. The other way, they'll play. They know who they're playing. It's going to be sold out like always. I mean, it's going to be, they could say this game's, but it's Kentucky. Here we come. So they'll be ready whether they played 4 ranked teams. And the crazy thing is they beat one and played well in the other.